We're back, and we do this show every single weekday, not on holidays or days we're observing a holiday, but besides that, 1 to 3 Eastern, if you're listening to the pod and you want to join us live on Bally Sports TV, sometimes Marquee, Bally Sports app, and on YouTube, of course, as well, live every day. So I would like to start today with a review, as promised. Sometimes we give love to the podcast crowd, but the nice podcast crowd. I did one mean one just to show that we care, but ready for this one? You guys are going to like this one. This is from C. Thompson 21. I listen to this podcast every morning on my way into the office. I'm a current college baseball coach, and I love the insight from current and former players. Oftentimes, I clip interviews and send them to our current players for a different perspective. Thanks for doing what you guys do for the game. That was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Good to hear positive feedback every once in a while, because most people on the social media aren't so positive.
YouTube's kind of nice. Twitter is there for toxicity. But the cool part for me, Kratz, was he's probably listening to those individual podcasts that have the players that we break off on Apple, Spotify, etc., and he's showing them to his guys.
That's huge. As a coach, you always are looking to connect with different kids at different ways. So it's awesome that he's doing it in college, and hopefully something here can help one of his kids, help him make that connection with a player.
Very cool. Okay, let's charge the damn mound.
He's charging the mound.
Do you want to go the Dodgers route or the Ohtani route first?
Let's go Dodgers.
Okay, so 3 of 4 from the Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Is the NL West over?
Mm-hmm.
This was it?
Mm-hmm. As soon as they started getting hot, because they don't play the Padres anymore.
No, one more Padres.
They have 3 more Padres.
24th to the 26th. I think Diamondbacks is done.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They got close. They got to within 2, I think, and Dodgers started getting healthy, and whoosh, they took off again. What are they? I think they're 5 or 6 up again.
They're 5 up on the Padres, 6 up on the Diamondbacks, and they were only 3 up on Wednesday.
Yeah, so this is a big series. This was Arizona's chance. If it would have been flipped, think about the standings. But yeah, they're 6 back in the loss. That's with 24 games remaining. That's almost impossible. I mean, It would take an epic collapse from the Dodgers. Or it would take like was it the Rockies the one year went on like a 17-game winning streak? It would take something like that for them to have a chance.
Kratz, done?
This is another reason why when it's 3.5 games at this point in the season, it is really, really tough. It's almost impossible once you lose 3 or 4. But even if they split that series, it's only at 2.5 games. And like you said before, the Dodgers are getting healthy. We'll look at some other races that are at 3, 4, like we can start putting some of those teams to bed unless something crazy happens, which is why we watch September.
So Ohtani's the first player ever to go 43 homer, 43 stolen bases in the season. He had 3 bags yesterday, so he's at 46 on the year. He's been caught 4 times this season. He's stolen 23 bases in a row. Ken Rosenthal on last week's Fair Territory pointed out how the stolen bases are real. What he means by that is if you look at the situation, it's not garbage time stolen bases. He's not doing it just to rack up numbers. He's doing it at timely moments.
True. I mean, he's hitting big home runs. Will he get to 50-50? That's my question. Will
50 stolen bags, easy.
50 stolen bases, yes, but will he get to the 50 homers?
Probably. I mean, 7 homers with 3.5 weeks to go.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, anything can happen. But if he's playing, I mean,
if he plays, he'll get there.
Easy pace.
I think so.
Yeah. They're not going to over-rest him. Could he sit
That one was kind of cheap, though. That was 1st and 3rd. They weren't throwing on that one. So you were saying they're all real? That one was kind of cheap.
All right, we got rid
That's
of
the way
one
Kratz
guy.
used to get his stolen
It's a
bases.
3-1 game. You put 2 in scoring position.
No, that one was legit. But the first one, that's how Kratz got his. The old 1st and 3rd, they ain't throwing, I'm going to go trick.
Yep, 2 strikes, 2 outs. I'm going to take that bag and then get driven in on a base hit. But they're not – let's give a little bit of love to Clayton McCullough, the first base coach. Runs their stealing, runs their running game. But Shohei's, he's ridiculous. People forget he's like 6'4", too. Like, that's a monster running the bases, and I think he will get to 50 homers.
There you go.
Okay.
So he'd be the first 50-50 ever. Nice, clean numbers.
And by the way, we have a chance at another 40-40 guy no one's talking about. Do you know who it is?
40 stolen bases for – hold on,
Whit?
I do know this. No.
Talking about Whit. Eugenio Suarez?
Nope. Same division as Witt.
Who has 40 homers?
40 homers, 40 stolen bases. Come on, you guys are better than this.
Yeah, man. How are you?
This is why nobody talks about him. He's been one of the best players for about 10 years.
Jose Ramirez?
Yeah. He's got 34 and 34 right now.
Wow.
And no one's mentioning him. And he's got 105 stakes. And no one's even mentioning him in anything.
Another number 3 MVP finisher for him. He's top 3
amazing.
MVP. Every year.
He should be.
That is amazing.
So he had 1 year.
He has more homers and stolen bases than Bobby Witt Jr. Just FYI.
34-34. He's at an 860 OPS.
Okay.
But he had 2018 when he hit 39 homers and stole 34 bags. That was by far the closest.
He's got 34 and 34 right now.
He can do it. I mean, he's got the same chance.
He's got the same numbers as Ohtani.
Pretty close, yeah. And in terms of getting to 40-40 versus 50-50.
He'll do it. I don't see how he doesn't.
I mean, that's where you guys are like this and that and a 40-40. I get it. But think about that. That's crazy. That's crazy that no one's even mentioning him anywhere. They're in first place, and he's got a shot at 40-40, and nobody's mentioned him. He's got more homers and stolen bases than Bobby Witt Jr.
Will he finish top 3 for AL MVP?
Well, it's going to be Judge, Witt,
That's
Soto.
Easy too. Soto's in there. I think Gunner's still going to get attention.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get. I don't think Gunner's lost
it's too much
his
of a drop off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm but not even top 3 or 4.
The question is, should he be ahead of Soto? That's really the other
Ramirez or Gunner?
Ramirez.
Oh. Gunnar Henderson still has a 7.7 WAR, and that's what writers like. And Jose Ramirez is a 5.3 for baseball reference. I'm just telling you what people like.
I know.
Ramirez is a 137 OPS plus. Gunner's still 155. He plays a really mean shortstop.
Jose plays an unbelievable third base.
I agree.
That's the thing.
Right now, without doing crazy digging, so if we do this as a separate YouTube clip, people will have a ball. But it's probably Gunner still ahead of Jose. I'm predicting writers.
I know. I'm just saying, though, if he finishes 40-40, that normally is an MVP. Like most years, everyone would be like, 40-40, first place team? That's MVP. No one's even talking about it.
Doesn't strike out much either.
No,
obviously.
he's got, 73 punch-outs, 105 RBIs. In today's game, 34, 38 stolen base, played a great third base, hits third, doesn't have a lot of protection, doesn't have Soto hitting behind him like Judge does.
He's a great base runner, too. It's not just the stolen bases. Always taking the extra base. I mean,
you
rarely
missed that,
getting
didn't you?
caught.
You completely missed that, what I just said.
No, I don't listen to you most of the time.
Okay,
he doesn't have Juan Soto hitting behind him. Come on, Scott!
I said he doesn't have Soto hitting behind him like Judge does. Give you 1 day off, Scott.
I'm not allowed to say anything. That's how it works, right? If you're the Stephen A. Smith, you're not allowed to correct your friend.
You know what? You are Mad Dog. You know what? I'll be Stephen A. You be Mad Dog. That's fine. That's fine. That seems like a fair swap. Yeah, you're from New York up that way.
Soto getting traded.
You work quarter zips every day.
All right. So
Annoying
that was
as hell.
good shout out. Good shout out. And then lastly with the Dodgers, I mean, I just wanted to put this here while we're talking about LA. Clayton Kershaw goes down with the toe injury. So you've got Kershaw, Glasnow, and Yamamoto still sitting on the shelf. Jack Flaherty and Gavin Stone are good. But what else? What else wins the World Series for the Dodgers?
What do you mean, what else?
In their rotation.
Yamamoto, Glasnow, Flaherty.
Flaherty, I know. He's pitching right now. You feel good about Glasnow and Yamamoto?
Well, Kershaw's not – you can't count Kershaw in.
I wasn't counting him before, honestly, for starter
Gavin
that
Stone's
I rely
been pretty
on.
good for him.
Stone's been great. So is Flaherty. I'm just saying now there's a lot of heat on making sure that Glasnow and Yamamoto are good.
100%. I didn't realize that Flaherty in Arizona had such a little thing until I watched the game yesterday. Or when he pitched there in Detroit this year, him and Zach Gallen got into it about because Flaherty was like digging a hole and Torrey, Lavello, and Bannister were yelling at him. You know, they were giving the old, stop talking. Flaherty, shoved, and then he went out and shoved again yesterday. So apparently Flaherty likes pitching in Arizona. He can dig up whatever holes he wants right now.
Hey, he had that ridiculous start against St. Louis this year, too.
Yep.
A little extra adrenaline doesn't hurt during the regular season, right? All right, so that's a look at the NL West. We'll get to some other divisions later. We'll hit on the New York Yankees situation coming up next because there are some very fired up fans and even writers about Jason Dominguez not getting the call yet. So let's talk it out with Chris Kirschner, who's going to join the show for the first time on FT next, and he's going to tell us why it's okay. Calm down, everyone. Good week to kind of settle down after you get back from your Labor Day weekend, whatever you did. Get yourself a little pre-portioned ingredients, seasonal recipes, all delivered right to your doorstep the day that you want it. It is America's #1 meal kit, and it is called
HelloFresh.
HelloFresh.
I was like, what is he pointing at?
This
Oh.
is nice. We made this.
I like the lime.
I mean,
is
they
that a
made
lime
that,
or is that a
technically.
lemon?
I think it's a
Why would it be a
lime.
lemon? That's definitely that.
I don't know. There also is a lemon, which is lime lemon.
Is that a thing?
Google it.
Maybe
Come
it's
on.
part of one of their recipes. What do you mean, come on?
That's a real
Maybe it's
thing.
part of...
Yes.
Maybe it's part of one of their ever-changing recipes that you can look at each week, and you don't have to go searching on your own anymore for recipes online, where obviously also they do all that BS at the front. Have you ever seen the online recipes where they put all these things and it takes you forever to actually get to them? Yeah. Instead, you can just kind of get the recipe in your hand. Old school, but new school, because you're ordering it to your door.
Plus, you feel like you did something because you actually cooked it instead of it just coming in a prepackaged thing. So you're like, wow, look at me go.
That's true, and home cooked is healthier. So make sure you enjoy that. We've been working with HelloFresh and having a great time, obviously enjoying the meals too. If you're a picky eater like me, there's a changing menu of 50 recipes to choose from each week. So go get after it. And Kratz, we have a new little special offer at the bottom of your screen at HelloFresh.com/freeFT. Ready for this? Because I know you're a big morning breakfast guy.
So I'm so excited about this. I need
Free breakfast for life. For life.
Does that mean like until Kratz dies?
No, until you die. HelloFresh.com/freeFT, FREEFT. One free breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to HelloFresh.com/freeFT. It's America's #1 meal kit.
See, it's a lemon. Look at it. It's a half lime, half lemon.
I'm going to look that up now.
You
So when we do
that.
this again,
Let me know what you find.
I can talk about it. I'm going to do some digging. But in the meantime, go check that out, FT fam. I'm telling you, when you get to the checkout box and you see what your first box costs you, it is quite nice. You're going to save on some home-cooked food this or next week. Be right back. Joining us for the first time on FT, it's Chris Kirschner. He writes for The Athletic. Chris, first off, great to have you on. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Really good. So I enjoyed the article and felt like it was really necessary because baseball gets pretty complicated sometimes. So some people are like, oh, the Yankees doing something shady to keep Jason Dominguez down in the minor leagues right now. Can you describe a little Cliff Notes version of what you put in the article that helped to kind of ease some tension from fans at least?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought that there was some shady business going on myself, honestly, with Jason Dominguez, because when I saw the Yankees make the roster moves they did on September 1st, and it was Duke Ellis instead of Jason Dominguez, it was like, huh? Like, what's going on here? But after talking to some people, there doesn't seem to be any sort of benefit for the Yankees to be manipulating Jason's service time. So he's ineligible for the PPI pick that the Orioles and the Diamondbacks had with Gunnar Henderson and Corbin Carroll winning Rookie of the Year. Dominguez started the season on the Major League Baseball injured list, and he has over 100 days of service time already. So with the PPI pick, the way to get it is a rookie has to have less than 60 days of service time, but Dominguez, because he's over 100 days, he does not qualify. So even if he ends up winning Rookie of the Year. And by Major League Baseball's rules, he is still a rookie because he hasn't spent 45 days on the active roster. Obviously he spent more time on the injured list, but he hasn't spent 45 days on the active roster. He has fewer than 130 career at-bats. So he is a rookie, but he doesn't qualify for that pick. So even though if he wins Rookie of the Year next year, the Yankees don't benefit in any tangible way. It's only a status symbol essentially for the organization rather than getting that conditional first-round pick.
Does he make this team better? We got rid of nothing nefarious is going on here. No Yankee conspiracy, anything. Does he make this team better based on how they're playing right now and how the team is constructed going through September and October?
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion that Dominguez is one of their best position players. Obviously, he's not with the team right now, but I do think that with the production that they've gotten from Alex Verdugo in left field, I think Dominguez could basically do the same. And I think his ceiling is much higher than Verdugo's. Verdugo has a 79 WRC plus this season, so he's 21% worse than the average major league hitter. Public defensive metrics are split on him. Personally, I mean, I've watched every single game. I think he's been better than what the metrics say. I don't think he's in like the Gold Glove conversation, but I do think he's a quality defender, and he's a negative on the base paths. So the Yankees just haven't gotten the level of production that they thought they were getting when they traded for him from the Boston Red Sox this past offseason. So I do think that if the Yankees decided to go with Dominguez in left field, I do think that he has the possibility of being better. And I also just don't think he could be much worse. So in my opinion, I would rather go with someone who has the higher ceiling. And also, if you put Dominguez in the lineup, he's someone who comes with slugging potential. We saw what he did last year when he was up for 8 games before he tore his UCL ligament. So if it was me, if I'm Brian Cashman, I have Dominguez in my lineup today and see what he can do over these next few weeks ahead of October.
So what exactly? So you're hoping if you put Jason Dominguez in, you're hoping. Then what would you do with Verdugo? You can't get rid of somebody. So essentially, you contradicted yourself. I would say they did the right thing and didn't call him up.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a tough call. He's respected in the clubhouse. I get the clubhouse dynamics aspect. He's someone that Aaron Judge personally advocated for in the offseason as someone who the Yankees should be interested in. So I certainly get the clubhouse dynamics aspect of it. But again, like, Verdugo hasn't been a very quality player this year. And I think Dominguez, again, you don't know until this guy is playing every single day. And the Yankees don't want to bring him up if he's not playing every single day because he hasn't spent much time in AAA this year, coming back from Tommy John surgery, and then he hurt his oblique in the middle of the year. But again, I think the potential for Dominguez is higher than what you already know with Verdugo. I get it's a tough call for the Yankees. They obviously don't want to do it, at least not right now. And they're giving Verdugo every single opportunity to get hot at the plate. Aaron Boone has said over the past few days he feels like Verdugo is swinging better. His stats, do say that he has had some success, but over the larger sample size, Verdugo just hasn't done much at the plate. And, I do think that Dominguez has the potential of being a much better hitter than Verdugo.
So, Chris, my conspiracy theory is that in a couple weeks, they will make a decision and likely bring up the Martian if he's continuing to crush the baseball and Verdugo continues to struggle. So it's not like he doesn't get to play in the playoffs. If that's the case, he's already on the Yankees organization, so he's able to play in the playoffs. I think some people were confused about that. And then also, don't you think some of this, to piggyback what Kratz says, has to do with a depth problem? You can't make trades, especially in September, let alone August nowadays, besides the dump deadline. So why not hold on to your guys? You have this big weapon lurking. And sure, you want to win the division, but it's about winning a championship. You can't replace injuries the same way at this time of year. So if someone else goes down and then they had to cut someone like Verdugo or Grisham or whatever, then they would be in a bad spot.
100%. Like, I know a lot of fans are thinking, well, why not just DFA Verdugo or Trent Grisham, who's now buried on the depth chart, or, even DJ LeMahieu, who has struggled mightily this season, and it seems like his playing time is just going to be non-existent for the rest of the season at this point. So, like, I get it. Like, depth is very important. The Yankees don't want to lose any of these guys if they don't have to. And, they do have Duke Ellis on the roster, who is a potential pinch runner option for the Yankees in the postseason. The Yankees, typically like having someone like him on their roster in the postseason. So, if it comes time to, make a roster decision, Ellis is probably the likeliest candidate. But I think when John Birdie comes back, who's on a rehab assignment right now, I think Birdie is going to replace Duke Ellis on the roster. So it's going to be a tough call for the Yankees if they, do want to bring Dominguez up in the next couple of weeks, because, everybody on their roster has a stake to claim for being on the 26-man roster right now. Oswaldo Cabrera has options, but he's been playing well and has a lot of versatility in that he can play basically every single infield position, has some experience in the outfield. I think he started the most games for the Yankees in left field last year. So it's going to be a tough call. But the one thing with the Yankees is someone usually finds themselves on the injured list. So, it's definitely a possibility that the decision for the Yankees is made easy if someone ends up getting hurt in these next few weeks.
All right, let me go to, speaking of injuries, let's go to a different guy. I have a question for you, Chris. Which do you have are you more worried about? The Florida Gators defense or Gerrit Cole's calf?
Definitely the Gators defense. I think
good.
Yeah, I think we're a terrible college football program right now. So
yes, thank you.
Hoping for changes in the near future.
Yes. So if you gave your salary to Florida, they could maybe get rid of the coach almost.
He can't open the water bottle, right?
He was the one who couldn't open the water bottle, yes. He's also the one that called all what did he say, the basement people in Central Florida get off the computer. Yeah. I don't know if you know this or not, Billy, but we don't have basements in Florida. Can't have basements in Florida. They go underwater.
Where's he from?
He's from,
not
I
Florida.
think, like Louisiana or somewhere. He's obviously not from Florida.
No.
But anyways, let's get to Gerrit Cole's calf. He came out of the game. I mean, he was pitching a nice game, but are we worried about this? It was just a cramp. I mean, he was doing all kinds of calisthenics out there on the mound to try to get it loose.
Yeah, we spoke to Gerrit after the game, obviously starting pitcher, but said he wasn't super concerned about it. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a big deal. At first, Gerrit's had a couple of injuries or sicknesses that have led to some underperformance this year. He doesn't look the same as he did last year when he won the American League Cy Young Award, but doesn't seem like it's a big deal. He wasn't concerned with it after the game, and Aaron Boone also wasn't concerned about it. So we'll see, but as of now, it doesn't seem to be anything serious.
So where are we at with the bullpen, Chris, in your mind? I mean, does this look like a World Series contending bullpen?
No, to be honest with you, but when you look around the American League, I don't know if any team really has a great bullpen. I would have concerns about the Royals bullpen. The Orioles bullpen may be worse than the Yankees, honestly. So I think for the Yankees, and it really goes into the big picture across MLB, I just don't think there is one singular great team going into October. I think all of these teams have some level of flaw to them. And with the Yankees, I think it's certainly their bullpen. Hopefully they get someone like Clark Schmidt or Luis Heel or even Nestor Cortez into the bullpen who, can provide some length, because the Yankees are going to have to make some decisions about who is and who isn't part of their starting rotation. It's expected that Schmidt and Heel rejoin the starting rotation this weekend in Chicago, and the Yankees just usually don't go to a 6-man rotation. So someone is going to lose their starting job. Schmidt has experience. Luis Heel's stuff is incredible, but he has command issues. Nestor has experience in the past out of the bullpen, and he could give them another lefty out of there. They only have Tim Hill as their only left-handed option in the bullpen, who's been really good from the Chicago White Sox, who DFA'd him earlier in the year. But I definitely have concerns about the bullpen. I know every single Yankees fan holds their breath when Clay Holmes enters the game. I think Holmes, from my opinion, and even metrics say that Holmes is a good pitcher. It's just that his profile doesn't scream like, oh, like we're going to have a clean ninth inning, because he is a pitch to contact guy, and sometimes that could be a problem.
Yeah, you want strikeouts, especially in the postseason in big situations. So, Chris, let me ask you this. We're going to leave you with this one, and I've had this conversation before, and it fascinates me. Gerrit Cole had an interesting quote on Giancarlo Stanton yesterday, saying he probably ends up with 500-plus home runs, which he should if he finishes out his contract, stays somewhat healthy. Is he a Hall of Famer? Because yes, I know he's got an MVP, but he's really kind of a one-dimensional guy that just kind of hits homers. So is that enough to get him into the Hall of Fame? Because 500 homers forever was the kind of like, oh, you have 500 homers, you're in. Now, I know there's some guys with 500 that aren't in, but for other reasons. So will Giancarlo Stanton go into the Hall of Fame with his 500 homers?
I mean, I think so. He's definitely lost some time, obviously, with injuries over the past several seasons, especially with the Yankees. Like you said, that 500 homer mark has usually been the golden ticket into the Hall of Fame. And the guys who aren't in it, either did steroids and the writers don't feel like they deserve to be in there. I've only covered MLB for 2 years. If I was a voter, I mean, they would have my vote, truthfully. They were some of the best players I saw growing up, and I think they deserve it, truthfully. So, in 8 years, if I'm still covering Major League Baseball and Giancarlo is on the ballot, I think it's, to me, as of now, just looking at his numbers, I think he is one of the best pure power hitters of this generation. And again, that 500 homer mark is definitely something that screams Hall of Famer in my eyes. If you look at his numbers, I think he has over an 800 career OPS, which not many players do. So yeah, and I think when it's all said and done, Giancarlo will probably be in the Hall of Fame. He's probably not a first ballot. It may take him a few years, but in my eyes, I think he is deserving of getting into the Hall of Fame if he eclipses 500.
Hey, real quick at the finish line here, DJ LeMahieu, a lot of fans asking in the chat, do you think he'll ultimately be DFA'd? He's got, 2 more seasons after this year? So they're probably pushing it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if they end up DFAing him, they would owe him $30 million over the next 2 years, which would be the most amount of money that the Yankees organization would have paid someone to go away. Last year when they DFA'd Aaron Hicks, he was owed 27.6. They cut A-Rod with, I think, 26. Jacoby Ellsbury was around there. So definitely seems like that is the area. And it's only, a couple $1 million more. The one thing I would say with DJ is he is very, very, very respected in the clubhouse, by ownership, by the front office. I think it would be a really tough call. What I think would happen is they'll bring him back in spring, see how he is. Obviously, he's had a couple of foot injuries over the past couple of seasons. Maybe just being further removed from that gets him back to the player that he was. I personally don't think that's a likely possibility from what I've seen with DJ over the past couple of years. I don't think he is that kind of player anymore. But I would be really surprised if they ended up DFAing him by the end of the year.
Yep, good call. I will say the contract's at least 1 year too long, remember, because he was going for a certain dollar value, and they're like, cool, we'll get there, but we need an extra year on it so we can spread out the average annual value. So I'm like, to me, I look at it as like being 1 year short, right? Like next year is the last year of the deal in terms of what he should have signed for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's like Trey Turner and some of these guys that signed until they're 95 years old because they stretch out the money for the salary cap. So anyway, Chris, thank you so much. Great to have you on here. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate the time. Everyone go check out Chris's articles in The Athletic, and you can look him up on Twitter at Chris, KIRSCHNER. Appreciate you, Chris.
Yep, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. We'll be right back on FT. And before that, we do have a Yankee show, Pinstripe Territory. So make sure you check that out wherever you get your podcast if you're listening right now. And then also you can check out the YouTube show. There's about 10 a week. Get the AM voicemails from our guy Derek, and then post game after every Yanks game. Now we're swinging back on FT to talk about the reason for Bryce Harper not hitting with more pop. New sponsor alert. It's Orgain, and I'm going to throw this out there for you. Yes, AJ's going to show it off. So am I. Kratz, do you think it is impeccable timing for our producer to do a segment next about a player who doesn't have as much power right now? And we're going over 13 grams, or in my case, for the dairy-free version, 16 grams of protein.
Mine has 30. What are you drinking?
I got the
They're
dairy-free version. Yeah. You
Weakling?
got the 30 gram
I got 30
shake.
grams of protein. That's why my arms are twice as big as Scott's. He just wears tighter shirts.
That's the good right there. So 30 gram complete protein shakes, often, protein packed. Real Nutrition is designed without the thought process of giving you great taste. This time, Orgain nailed it. But what do you think, Kratz? Do you think that was good timing?
I mean, it's perfect timing. Maybe the guy that we're going to talk about could use some Orgain. I mean, who can't use Orgain? If you're just going to get like 30 grams of protein, and it tastes good. Like most of these drinks, I'm like, nah, I'm good. This tastes delicious.
Taste it. Okay?
You taste it.
I've been drinking them the past 2 weeks since I made my order because I knew this was happening. So anyway, go check out those brand new 30-gram protein shakes. And, of course, there's an FT offer. We're pairing up with companies that we love, and this is one of them, okay? They give you that milkshake vibe, and it's not that grainy, annoying kind of protein that many of you have probably tried with other brands. So scan the QR code on the screen if you're watching on YouTube right now. Otherwise, if you're listening to the podcast, then you can head over to Orgain.com/foul and use the code FOUL, FOUL, for 20% off your order. Orgain.com/FOUL for 20% off. And then when you're there, make sure you use that promo code. Although when you go to that website, usually it'll kind of be right there for you already in the cart, FOUL. AJ's pointing out some underrated players today. You went to Jose Ramirez earlier in the show. He's got another guy on the National League side that we'll get to later. Here's an underrated power outage in my mind. Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs in August.
Yeah, he's not swinging it. I mean, he's getting some hits, but he's not going deep. That's what they need. They need him to go. And look at their record. Their record wasn't very good the whole second half.
No, and his power's not good. His slug's not good in the second half.
Yeah.
So Todd Zalecki over the weekend from the Philly show uncovered this from Harper, who said that he's dealing with not one but 2 issues. He said he's got wrist and elbow irritation.
Mm-hmm. So Kratz, you want to know the biggest crier of this whole thing? Kratz. Because Kratz is still going to say Bryce Harper should be the MVP of the National League. Even though with this cup, there's some crocodile tears if I've ever seen them. But here we go. I mean, a week ago, Kratz was like, Bryce Harper, please put Bryce Harper in the MVP conversation. But no, sorry, Kratz, he's out.
That ended in early July.
He's out like Florida in the top 25 in college football.
They were never in. You can't be out if you were never in.
That's outside.
You're thinking about Florida State.
You know what's something that's interesting? Mark brought this up before the show. Look at the Phillies and who is having like an unbelievable season. All the guys that they have, they don't have a Shohei. They don't even have anybody that's like matching up with the season Freddie or Mookie's having. And yet they're still doing what they're doing. Like this lineup is either underperforming. I know Schwarber's home runs are down, but his batting average is up like 40 points from last year. Who knows? Harper's part of that too. 2 home runs in August. The wrist injury, it was funny. The wrist injury came out on a day he was 3 for 4, so kind of figured it out on that day. But that stuff lingers. Hopefully the elbow has nothing to do with his Tomas Giannis surgery he had. But Just saying.
Yeah. Tommy John for some. So player perspective question for you. Why does this come out now? Is this a reporter asking it in the right way? I feel like Bryce is smarter than this. He's been around the league for a while. Do you think he finally decided, why not? I mean, I could be transparent. Because he also, within the answer, said he doesn't want to use that as an excuse and all that. And he's tough. He's played through a lot over his career. But do you think he just decided, screw it, what's the point? I might as well let them know I'm going through some things right now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, guys battle through stuff, and then sometimes they don't tell you until
sometimes
after
they
the
tell
season,
you, but they also they tell you because they want everyone to know they're banged up. So when everyone starts questioning them, why aren't you hitting homers, and why aren't you doing this, and why aren't you doing that? Oh, well, I have this going on. Right? If he was raking, he'd get through the year, and then at the end of the year, he'd be like, man, I did all this with these injuries. But now, and listen, that's just the way it is. You see this happen in every sport. Oh, so-and-so's not playing very well. Comes out 2 days later, oh, he's dealing with an ankle or a knee or a groin or something.
Sometimes guys hold it, and I don't get why they do. Yes, if they're thriving, it doesn't matter, and you're not going to get the questions as much, like, hey, what's wrong? Why'd you only hit 2 homers in August? If you hit 20 in August, no one's asking you the question. But you know what I'm saying, Kratz? I think it's an interesting player perspective, foul territory kind of topic.
Why do guys hold it in? I can give you an example of Brandon Moss. Brandon Moss was squatting in the offseason. He felt something in his hip, kind of like pop, and he was like, oh, that's weird. For the first half of the season, his hip was kind of bothering him. He goes to the All-Star game. He's talking with his wife, Allie. He had 25 dingers in the first half or something like that. And he's like, yeah, my hip has really been bugging me the whole year. He ended up hitting 2 dingers the rest of the year. Ended up hitting 2 against us in the wild card. This is in 14. But sometimes when you, tell people and admit to an injury, then it kind of becomes something that you think about more. I'm just giving an example, but you, as a player, you're always feeling something. And so if you can tell yourself it's not as bad as what it really is, then don't tell anybody else.
I get that, the competitive side of it. So Harper said it's been bothering him since May, and he said, quote, just generally got worse. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on it because he had 20 homers through June, and he was off to a nice start. He was winning Erik Kratz's heart, but he's lost it a little bit for now. But it's okay.
It was.
In
July,
if you lose Kratz's heart, you've lost.
He's a really nice guy.
I got a big heart. I got a big heart for all the good players that I played on teams with. So it's pretty much half the league. But his numbers for July were worse. He had 149 with a 598 OPS. For August, he had an 827 OPS. But his ISO was down to 163, and it was at 209 in July. So less power, more production. Which do you want?
I want the old Harper, but we'll see that you might not get that for this year. It might take an offseason for him to recover. Meantime, though, they won 3 of 4 against the Braves.
The Braves lost bad games too.
Yeah,
they had some leads late, and they could have won at least 3 of these games.
Everyone's pointing to that more in bummer situation in game 1.
Why didn't he bring in the
regular season and I will say this because I listen to a lot of Hammer Territory, of course, too. And there's a really good crossover episode that just came out. It's in the Foul Territory or the Philly Show or Hammer Territory show feed if you want to listen to both sides of the equation. But Braves fans, their thing this year that they've complained about with Brian Snitker is that sometimes he's not going for the jugular in games. And they're like, it's a marathon. We're in the playoffs every year. We want to win more consistently in the playoffs, so we're not going to beat the crap out of our relievers, even if you think we should bring them into certain situations. I think this time it got highlighted.
Yes.
Really.
It's also highlighted. Yeah, it didn't work out. And hopefully, for the Braves' sake, they can bring Bummer in to face Marsh in the playoffs. But we're talking about the playoffs. They're a half game up right now. They're not for sure in. They have some work to do here this last month of the season.
Yeah, they were up 3 games though not long ago, and you know why the 3 games went to half a game?
White Sox.
Because you know who the Mets played. Every team that's like, man, we're almost out of the playoff races. Mets, boom, right back in it. Right now the Orioles like, man, we're never going to catch the Yankees. Guess who they're playing? Boom, White Sox, right back in the playoff race. Here we go, boys.
Real line from real MLB broadcasters.
I mean, seriously.
Wait, hold on. This is a real line from MLB broadcasters. don't say schedule matters. These are all major league teams. I'm going to stop you right there because on Friday I said the Mets don't deserve to be in the playoffs if they can't sweep up the White Sox this weekend, and they did. And I know some fans wrote back, oh, well, the Braves lost a series to them earlier this year.
By the way, if that ends up being the difference, if the Mets get in over the Braves because of that would be awful for Braves.
That was a different team, though.
And I grew up with
this version right now.
Dude, I don't care what version it was. Like, that can't happen.
They had a few names. That was still Pham and Kopech and all them, right? It was early in the year. It was early. May or something. This version of the team right now is terrible. They went into the season, I think, without a pitcher who'd ever done 100 innings in a season, right? In their rotation. And they got rid of, obviously, the guys they should have gotten rid of, plus should have gotten rid of a couple more.
Chris Flexen set the all-time record for consecutive his team losing 20 yesterday. 20 straight starts he started, the White Sox have lost.
I feel bad for Chris. It's not.
But he doesn't get all the decisions. There's been guys that, like Anthony Young, lost like 25 in a row, his own decisions, but the team mixed in some wins, like after he had already come out of the game or whatever. The White Sox, Chris Flexen starts. If you want to make a lock of all locks, when he starts, I mean, the number is going to be big. It's going to be like a minus 300. But like the White Sox are going to lose, and that's because Chris Flexen hasn't pitched that terrible. But he'll go out and go like six innings, give up like 3 runs, and they're losing 3-0.
Yeah, or they're winning 4-3, and then you hammer that live
bet.
Oh,
baby.
There's nothing like a good live bet on the White Sox this year. I mean, they have really tilted how they're weighing the odds nowadays.
Did you see the game? Noticed? Yesterday they were up 2-0 in the first off Burns, and I was like, oh, they might win. They might end the losing streak. 2-2, 4-2, 20-2. You're like, damn! All of a sudden, like,
I bet you they weren't favored in the live bet.
Oh, no chance.
When they're up 2-0.
But
it's
the thing is,
4 runs or more.
They just did a homestand. I mean, I know we always look at the White Sox. Makes me. And this
is history, though.
This is history. Like, I'm thinking about going. I'm going to try and plan it out when they're going to get to that 120, because that is history.
You're going to go.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, you should.
You'll never see it again, more than likely.
No, not to this level.
So here's the thing: they just had a homestand, 10-game homestand.
Right.
How many games did they win?
1, 0?
0. They went 0-10 on a homestand.
Are they at a double-digit losing streak again?
11 right now.
Wow. See, I'm not even paying attention.
So this is their 4th losing streak of 10 or more.
Woo.
If you took away those, what was it? I saw the stat the other day. If you took away those, the 3 longest losing streaks of the year, they'd still have the worst winning percentage in Major League Baseball.
This is historically bad.
I mean, it's not funny, but it kind of is funny. It's sad if you're on the team. I'm sorry.
Brady's not getting manager of the year now, you're saying? He started out hot.
Well, they won a game.
He was 1-1.
Yeah.
Hey, one more real quick, if we can. First off, for the Mets, Kodai Senga, it looks like he's on track to come back late September, and he's down for bullpen. I mean, he was nasty in that one start. Like, the stuff's there, and it was a weird fluke injury. But also, did you see, just real quick, Kyle Tucker fracturing the shin?
You know what's funny?
What?
Anthony Rendon last year fouled a ball off his shin. All of you people, you too, said, oh, Anthony Rendon doesn't want to play. He's got a bruised shin. Well, he's like, it was fractured.
But the doctors never confirmed it.
His doctor did.
But why didn't the other doctor?
I don't know why, but then Kyle Tucker, and all of a sudden you guys are like, man, this really sucks for Kyle Tucker. He's a warrior. He's trying to play through this.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
Take
it back.
No.
Take it back.
Take which part back?
That's what you said about Rendon.
What did I say about
that
it?
He doesn't want to play. And
he doesn't play. He doesn't play.
But he had a fractured shin. The same thing Kyle Tucker has.
There's conflicting reports from doctors. I'm not going to get into that. I don't.
All right, Kratz, you take it back. What you said.
Kratz, you want to take it back? I'm not taking mine back.
I'll take back whatever I said mean about Anthony. I don't think I said anything mean, but if he's hurt, then he's hurt.
Okay. Well, Kyle Tucker has been going through it, just like Muncy, right? Different injuries, but you're like, something else is going on, and it was. So he should be back really soon, like any day now for the Astros, because they really need him. They're only up 6 games in the West, looking like one of the best teams in baseball. But let's talk about the best team in the NL West, swinging back next with Blake Treinen from the Los Angeles Dodgers on FT. Just while we have one extra second here, that was a tough series for the Royals against Houston. Houston takes all 4. Now Casey's lost 5 in a row. Red Sox aren't playing well, so Casey's still holding afloat. But they made a lot of moves, too, over the weekend. We probably won't get to it. They're smaller moves, but they're moves, for Casey. First of all, their trades have worked. Paul DeYoung has been a huge pickup for them. Ursic, I know, had a little hiccup lately, but he's been great. Kikuchi's been amazing for Houston. They've unlocked him. It starts to make you think.
They just said stop throwing curveballs.
And changeups too. No, didn't he lay off his changeup quite a bit too?
Curveballs are the big one that I noticed.
But right now, you're seeing a lot of fastball slider, and it's like, wow, his 2 best pitches.
Yeah, let's throw those.
That's amazing. What a brilliant idea. So he's crushing it. Jordan's back on track at home. Framber looks really good lately again too.
Mm-hmm.
He gets
Verlander didn't pitch great yesterday.
No, but right now he's not in the playoff rotation anyway. Framber, Hunter Brown.
Whoa.
Man,
Hot take. Hot stupid take. Hot stupid take from Scott. Here's the hot stupid take of the year. That's a hot stupid take.
Not yet.
Dude, are you kidding me?
I need to see more.
Who's going to go to Justin Verlander and say, hey, Justin, you're not in the playoff. Let's role play, Scott. You're the GM. Come tell me I'm Justin Verlander. Let's go.
Justin, how you feeling lately?
I'm getting there, Coach, but I've always pitched great in the postseason.
Cool. We'll talk in a few weeks.
Oh,
you're a free agent after this year.
I don't
care. Stop.
No chance he's not in the playoff rotation. Hunter, now, they might piggyback him with somebody, but there's not a chance.
So he's in your playoff rotation. Which game is he pitching in this series right now?
2.
So Framber, then Justin?
Yep.
Then Hunter?
Then Kikuchi.
Then Kikuchi 3?
Yeah.
Then Hunter Brown 4?
What about Blanco?
What about Spencer Arrighetti, who's been sick lately,
He goes in the bullpen.
They are so
You ain't running Spencer
right
Arrighetti out there over Justin Verlander. I'm sorry.
Arrighetti's got a lot of experience.
See, you're an idiot. Got taken again by Scott. Scott, you're on a roll today, bro.
He's not pitching well yet.
Who's not pitching well?
Verlander.
I'll take
he
track
said it
record.
Himself, he's not back on track right now.
But give him a
couple
couple weeks.
Kershaw's track record too.
Kershaw's got a bad toe.
True.
Got a bad Sergeant Holka.
Mr. Dodger Blake Treinen is in the green room. We're getting along today. Longtime great reliever Blake Treinen joining us right now from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's on FT. Blake, great to have you on. And first off, I don't know if we've ever had you on. I get confused because I know you've been on Dodgers territory and you've been great there. I just want to congratulate you, dude. We always love this. 10 years of service time in July. Congratulations, man. How you
thanks,
doing?
Guys. Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you great. Yeah,
okay,
congrats, man. How you doing?
Some issues before I got
on.
On.
You sound great. So what did you do to celebrate?
Well, I was supposed to go deep sea fishing, but we had an off day in San Diego, and I thought long and hard about being on the water for 12 hours and trying to come back and play the next day. And I think I'll wait till the off season rolls around.
I've done it.
During the season?
2005, we did it. We went out. We got like a bunch of sharks in San Diego. We had an off day. We brought them back in the clubhouse, and they cooked them all up for us like a bunch of different ways.
But you guys were terrible in 2005.
Yeah, nothing worked out well in 2005. But we all did it. We also did it in Anaheim one time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so he'll do.
You should have done it, dude. First of all, you're a kicker.
I get
I mean, those
really
3
bad.
outs just wear you out. Man, those 3 outs where you got to throw like 12 pitches. God, man. I fished yesterday. There's no way I can throw those 12 pitches.
You're right. I get seasick really bad. The 2 times I've gone, I'm like 30 minutes into it.
Wait, and you would still go? Why would you still go if you get seasick? Like, that's it.
I love
if I get
fishing,
seasick
man.
once,
it's like, hey, the love of the game, right?
Stop. If you get, that's like having like a shellfish allergy. Like, I just love crab. There's plenty of other food in the world that you can be like, I'm just not going fishing.
That's fair. Find a lake or a pond. I'm with you.
Yeah, stream.
No.
Nice.
There's this little thing they pick because listen, I used to fish a lot, right? And I used to get seasick too. And my buddy Doug Minkiewicz lives down in the Keys. He used to take me, and it was our ritual. He'd take me out, and I'd wear a patch, and then I'd go out for about an hour. I'd go out for about an hour, and I'd get sick, And I throw up, and then I'm like, all right, let's go. And as soon as I threw up, I was like, all right, here we go. And we'd go out and fish all day. But the patch, man, you got to wear the patch. It helps. Or
I heard
take
about
half
that.
a patch.
I thought it
wear
was
half
to be
a
like
patch.
Dramamine. I thought it was like Dramamine pills. And then somebody told me there's a patch you put behind your ear. So you guys saying that and it actually works, maybe I'll try that.
And what you can do is you can like cut it in half or like in a quarter so that it doesn't make you as sleepy. But it still works good.
It does help.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that.
Hey, so how's the year going for you individually and for you with the ball club like this? Have you ever been part of fanfare like this? For example, Ohtani decoy night and just that whole madness that was going on both outside of the stadium and obviously with all the media, extra media that's been around the ball club?
No, I haven't actually. I've been on some really good teams, Dodgers being some good teams in the past and having some really talented players. DC had some good players and some young guys in Oakland, but the fanfare I think started probably back in like Dodger Fest or whatever they do right before spring training, and I think it was probably the busiest I've ever seen Dodger Stadium when they first announced like Shohei to the fans, and walking around the stadium was kind of a nightmare. I feel for our security guys, but with the decoy night. That was there's some pretty cool stories that came out of that. I think they did a random gold Shohei bobblehead. I don't know if you guys caught wind of that at all. There's maybe like a handful of them throughout the stadium, and we were out doing stretch, and like Joe Kelly had his son Knox at the field that day, and some guy was showing his gold Shohei bobblehead and said, "Joe, I'll trade you a bobblehead for a glove." And so Joe threw his game glove up there thinking he got one of like maybe 5 gold bobbleheads. And because we already had our bobbleheads in the clubhouse and they weren't gold, and so Joe thought he was making out in a good deal. Next thing you know, we get back after stretch and all of us have gold bobbleheads in our locker. And so it was crazy the prices that those gold bobbleheads were trying to be sold for on I don't even know what, eBay or wherever people hawk those things. So did you guys see some of the prices that they were trying to sell those for?
Oh yeah.
Upwards like $15,000. It was blowing my mind. And then, so Joe thought he did a good thing for his son. Hey, I got a college fund for him. And next thing you know, we all have 30 gold bobbleheads in our locker. So he gave away his glove for nothing.
Wait, so I don't know that any of them sold. They're for sale. Have any sold for 15?
Yes. So that's a good question. I've been trying to figure that out. The first price we saw marked up was like $5,000, and then by the end of the game, people were like doing counters, trying to figure out like how high they were trying to sell for, and we saw 17.9 for one of them. Ooh. And like, who would ever pay that? But he's like the greatest player of all time, arguably. So I mean, there are people who would want that.
But would you go up to Shohei and get him to sign it? Because then you would be, because I know Shohei is not just going out there just signing everybody's gold bobblehead.
No, I think there's only one signed gold bobblehead. I think you can draw the lines. So it's hard to say no to Knox. Yeah, he's a good kid.
Yeah, but Blake, here's the thing. Like, if you went up to Shohei with your gold bobblehead and you said, "Shohei, please sign this," would he say no?
I think he would sign it because he's a good guy. But he's so busy. Like,
that takes 5 seconds
from Tommy John throwing. He's
pretty busy. That takes 5
man.
seconds. Listen, when he's in between the bats, like after he goes deep in the first inning, you're in the tunnel and you say, here, sign this real quick. $20,000. Yeah. Thanks, Shohei. Love you, buddy. Best teammate ever. Thank you. Yeah. All right. But then, did Joe Kelly get his glove back? Because I would have been pissed if I was him.
No, the best part was, you guys all know how sacred gloves are to us as players, right? And so you look at this thing, it gets thrown in the stands, and we're playing catch, and this guy who has Joe's glove is now going all around the stadium saying, "Look at this glove." I swear 100 people tried his glove on, and it's just, it got thrown to the, I don't want to say vultures because it paints a bad picture of like fans, but it was just kind of funny because they don't think fans understand how like sacred gloves are to us. Like, it's a big deal when you have a glove and, things are going well, or just like your career in general, like you have a specific glove that fits your hand perfect.
That dude's got a great story, though.
It's going to be a great story. Yeah.
That thing's probably on eBay somewhere. He's like, I traded this $5 bobblehead for this glove. And then he'll probably, like 2 months from now, you guys are in the playoffs, the guy will walk up to Joe and be like, Hey, Joe, I'll trade you your glove back for a World Series ball.
Yeah, but do you guys remember? I think it was in 2021. So Joe, or maybe it's 2020. We had like it's 21. We had a mariachi band come out to the stadium on day games, and Kenley Jansen brought them down on the field because he wanted to hear him play the trumpets and everything while we were long tossing for catch play. And then Joe wanted one of their like authentic mariachi like jackets, and so he ran inside and traded one of his jerseys, his game jerseys, for a mariachi jacket. So it's not like something Joe hasn't done before. And I'm pretty sure
Didn't he wear
Joe,
that? Didn't he
to
wear
the
that
White
to the
House.
White House or something? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he told me all the Secret Service agents looked at him like he was an idiot. They were pretty upset with him that he wore that to the White House. But I mean,
But
teach
wait,
their own. I thought it was sick.
here's my question about Joe Kelly. Like he is Mexican, right? He's of Mexican heritage. Like
Yeah,
doesn't
his mom is, yes.
Oh, because I'm like Joe Kelly is like the most Irish name of all time. But then Joe like just feeds off them. So I didn't know that his mom. That makes sense because I was like,
yeah, his mom is for sure. Yeah,
Okay,
she's super
all
sweet.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also got the Porsche from Shohei, so he's just wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
For the
Yeah,
numbers.
that's a crazy story as well. So, but he's a Porsche guy anyways, I think. So he's had one. I don't know all the Porsche styles or whatever.
That's not
I'm a
his.
pickup truck,
That's not his.
so.
That's his wife.
That's his wife's. He has one.
Yeah,
but his
yeah,
wife
yeah.
has
That's
that one.
not.
Let's
That's not
clarify,
Joe's.
In the fam.
Mm-mm.
Just like the
Mm-mm.
bobble. The
By
bobble
the way,
goes
it's a
to the kid.
Porsche. You guys, it's a Porsche. Call it a Porsche.
Not fancy, not bougie enough for that.
That's what they're called.
I can't do that.
Okay.
All right, so Blake, what about you? Let's go over your game for a sec. So, how you feeling this year compared to past seasons? Obviously, you've been in this league for a while now. How do you maintain quality out of the back end of a bullpen like this for this long? What would be your advice?
Well, I think a lot of it starts with my faith. I'm not where I'm at today if it isn't for the favor of the Lord. I work really hard. My mom and dad instilled that in me as a young kid, and I have a wife who is not afraid to call me out if I'm slacking. So I've got a lot of good people around me, organizations included. You guys have all had great careers, so you understand what it's like. Your career is a culmination of the right people coming into your life at the right time, and maybe giving you advice that you would otherwise push aside. But when you get older and the longer you get into this game, I think you realize every day is a learning process and how to become a better version of yourself, and sometimes a totally different version of yourself. And in years past, I'm maybe used to having more velocity to bully guys, but I still have movement, and I'm relying on that and trying to execute pitches maybe more effectively than in the past, where I could just challenge guys and be even more like halves of the plate. So this year's different. Post surgery is obviously an interesting route. There are times when I feel great and the ball doesn't come out like I want it to, and there's times when I feel like crap and then it's coming out just fine. So I think the challenge for me is just to trust that whatever I have that day is going to be enough. So
We're here celebrating your 10 years of service. Like, that's not easy to do. There's a reason only 10% in the big leagues ever get that. You've had a lot of IL stints in your career. You also threw 1 billion miles an hour, and you just talked about your velocity going down. Something we talk about all the time on here is baseball breaking pitchers, or are pitchers breaking themselves? Where do you fall on that side of it? Like, could you have thrown at a lower velocity and still had the success and gotten your 10 years and stayed healthy? Or is that not possible?
Yeah, there's so many variables, right? I have talked to a lot of guys across the league, and we've tried to figure things out. Even coaches now who have played, 15, 20, 30 years ago. I mean, there's guys that threw hard and pitched for a long time. Verlander's one of them, right? Like, he's thrown hard and pitched for a long time, and very few injuries other than the Tommy John he's coming off of, right? So I know there's like unicorns out there that can do it. I think the game is tailored towards how hard can you rip it, and how, like, not velocity, but just spin. Like, it's not so much pitchability, in my opinion. It's how nasty can you make it inside the clown's mouth of the strike zone. And it has its perks and it has its negatives. And the negatives to me is the amount of stress that it adds, and from a pitching standpoint, I think it takes away from pitchability. You see guys that are coming up to the league now, and they've got like maybe 7 pitches, like 3 different fastballs, 3 different breaking balls, and a changeup or a splitter. And I just don't know how many arms are that special to handle that workload. When I came up with the Nats, I was a starter and I was a sinker slider, absolute garbage changeup guy. And Scherzer told me, he's like, if you want to add a pitch, you need to work on it and catch play for a year, and then the earliest next year you can add it to your repertoire in the game. And it didn't make sense to me at first, but now looking back, I think 100% there's a deeper thought to it. The way your tissue works, you guys know how as you get older, like your body can only handle so much change so quickly. I think building a tolerance with the way that you manipulate a baseball, we have the technology to manipulate a baseball or teach people how to manipulate a baseball relatively quickly with mocap and these spin rate machines and stuff. And I'm like, it's a great resource to have to show you what you're doing right when you are right. But I think people are so concerned about chasing characteristics as opposed to chasing outs. And when you have it starting at a youth level where guys are ripping baseballs that are weighted as hard as they can from the age of 12 on, I don't know if it's so much of a big league issue as it is a youth baseball issue that's just now catching up to the big leagues. And organizations are trying to find ways to fix the players and put them back together and keep them healthy when it's more of a root issue in youth baseball.
I couldn't agree with you more. Plus, they don't know how to train properly. Everyone thinks they have the right training for youth, but we really don't know enough about it. So, all right. So I have 2 questions for you, and I promise they're kind of quick before we talk about your charity a little bit.
Okay.
One, first one is, you guys were in Arizona. Now you're playing in Anaheim today. Do you guys stay in Anaheim?
I'm staying in Anaheim. I'm kind of bouncing around ever since my family went home for the season, and we're at the.
Don't tell the hotel. Don't say the hotel.
I'm not going to tell you where we're at, but we're
okay.
at a nice
I was like, don't say the hotel.
Yeah.
Please don't say the hotel.
Place. Yeah, I had a brain fart. You're right. I'm not going to say the hotel, but we're in a quaint place, fairly close-ish, to the beach. So I stay down here. It saves me a little bit of a hassle of driving back and forth.
Okay. All right. That's cool. And then
not everybody. A lot of people stay at home.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Freddie's at home, so he doesn't have to go very far.
Yeah, it works for him.
Yeah, he's great. He's like, can we play all our games in Anaheim? That'd be awesome.
They would take him, but
huh?
They would take him, but the Dodgers won't give him up.
True. All right, and then last but not least, how's the golf game?
My golf game. I literally played golf 2 days ago. Dave Roberts is kind of a partner at this par 3 course. You guys know where ASU? There's like a par 3 course right across the street from Arizona State's baseball facility.
Yeah.
I'm awful. I play maybe a handful of times, and Brazier was making fun of me. He goes, "You're 6'5", swinging with standard clubs. It looks like you're bent over, and you've got like what do they call it when you have like a hump in your back?" It was just a really weird looking swing, but that's all I've ever known. I play a handful of times a year, so I just usually rent clubs wherever I go, and sometimes I get lucky and I've shot an 85, 87. Other times it's like 100 because I don't have a good enough feel for my swing. And when it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it is bad. So I enjoyed it. We played under the lights. They're doing a pretty cool thing over there at that golf course. But yeah, my golf game's trash. I enjoy it. I just suck. Yeah.
That's okay. As long as you enjoy it. Real quick, before we get to your charity, Psalm 23, which is freaking awesome. Shohei is going back to Anaheim tonight. As a teammate, do you sit there and you go, this is kind of special for him? Is he going to do something that's like even more special tonight?
I was thinking about that this morning, literally 30 minutes before you guys got on the call with me. And I was like, how many home runs is he at? Could he hit 50 while we're here? And I'm like, there's no way he hits 6 in 2 games. That would be pretty crazy. But no, I could see him doing something, where he pops off for like 2 or 3 in a 2-game set. He's it's pretty crazy to see what he's doing. And then before you know it, he has 3 bags in 2 innings, I think, or something like that. And I've seen him take 3 bags in a game probably a handful of times this year. So I think being back in Anaheim, he's definitely got an extra chip on his shoulder to maybe prove, like, hey, I don't know, maybe like why was it so easy for him to walk out of there without any type of negotiation? But thank God he's with the Dodgers. So it's just strange to me.
Good. I
think
like
find
that.
a way to keep the best talent around. I feel like he's. My guess is 3 homers in 2 games.
Okay, I like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see where you're at afterwards. All right, talk to us about Psalm 23. Your wife and you guys have this charity you're a part of. Just go off on it.
Yeah, so it's fairly new. We tried starting it back in 21, and things kind of got weird, obviously, with the back end of COVID, and then I got hurt in 22, and made it really hard to kind of get it up and running. So this year's the first year we're really trying to get a lot of awareness out about it. The sad thing about the cancer world is everybody's affected by it. The even worse part is when you get to see the ugly truth behind in my opinion, the medical side of it. I believe insurance and the medical field failed my mother-in-law, and God's got a plan for everybody, and we're not upset or bitter about it. But there was treatment that she needed that was not granted her because during COVID, like most people were affected by, they would push back appointment after appointment and then say, well, you don't qualify for this anymore. And then we did our research and we found out that, hey, maybe the reason she was denied this within the 2-week window that she was eligible is because it was $500,000. And it's the ugly side of anything in this world is money kind of runs everything. And like, there's got to be a better way. So then my wife went down this journey of reading about, natural remedies or more of like a holistic approach that you can do, even if you don't have the finances available through insurance or by yourself, to give yourself a chance to live through this awful thing, cancer. And, the hardest part on her mom, besides the physical side and the family, was just traveling, because they live in rural Idaho, and traveling to and from Salt Lake for treatments, gas, living, food. It's kind of a nightmare. So there are places out there that donate to cancer research. We feel like cancer research kind of failed our mother. And so we wanted to provide a way for families that can not have added stress besides the physical side of cancer. It's meeting them in a way where life isn't stressful. They only have to worry about beating cancer. They don't have to worry about beating the bill of traveling to a cancer center, or beating the bill of food, or a hotel cost, or whatever it may be outside of just physical treatment itself. We have resources and books that lay out plans if people feel like they want to go down a natural resource route for beating cancer, whether it be through a clean diet or like any other natural resource, I guess. My wife has laid it out in the website, psalm-23.org. But yeah, we really just want people to have an opportunity for healing. And as great as modern medicine is, and there are ways to bless people and heal them through modern medicine, it did fail us in this moment. And so we wanted other people to not necessarily have to go through that route, and at least have multiple options to try to take on this awful thing as cancer. So there's resources on the website. Our charity is 100% tax deductible, and we don't take any money to ourselves. It literally goes 100% to the people who apply for the need and the aid of everything that surrounds the process of cancer treatment. So that's about as best as I can lay it out. It's a disgusting thing having to see people you love most go through cancer, and we just want to thank anybody who feels led to give anything to the organization.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great info if you want to check it out. Like Blake mentioned, psalm-23.org. There you go. You got the homepage of the website up there as well. Fight cancer in the Pacific Northwest, and obviously all over the world. So go check that out. There's spots to donate, and there's spots to get a lot more information there as well. Blake, thanks for laying that out. Thanks for hopping on with us. Congrats again on the 10 years, and have fun with the Shohei Bowl this week.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Blake Treinen with us on FT. And of course, we have Dodgers territory as well, which is actually coming up later today. But Blake's not on that. He's been on that one in the past. We'll be right back. This is an interesting one. I'm really excited about this because we have firsthand experience from multiple people on this show. But I'm going to start with the leader in the clubhouse, Erik Kratz. Erik, tell me what you've struggled with in terms of congestion and some sleep issues in the past.
Look at this nose. This nose gets clogged up. Good night. This thing's a monster. Navage has helped so much because you do it when you first get it, you do it twice a day, and you kind of get into a rhythm, a routine. It clears you out in the morning, clears you out at night, and it really, really reduced my snoring. My wife was like, man, why didn't we not have this before? Because when this nose gets clogged up, yikes. This John is just snoring for days. And it's helped me in my cardio because I feel like I can breathe easier. You're supposed to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. When you're like really breathing heavy, it's helped me a ton. I love it.
Yeah, I've always struggled with that too, with
Breathing?
Yeah, breathing, but in multiple forms, like breathing via running, sports, lifting, etc., congestion. So yeah, pretty much breathing easier. It's part of the Navage slogan. So it's been a game changer, obviously, for Kratz, and there's smooth saline flow and gentle patented nasal suction to clear those nasal passages. So like Kratz mentioned, you kind of hold it up to your nose, you press start, and what it's supposed to do is effectively unlock and flush mucus from your nasal passages. So it works fast, it's drug-free, it uses 99.9% pure saline salt pods with no medicinal side effects. So if you would like your FT offer, we've got one for you. Listeners can order a convenient Navage starter pack, including a nose cleaner with batteries included and 30 original salt pods, everything you need to get started, plus a cleaning kit as a free gift with your order, only if you go to navage.com/foul, F-O-U-L, and use that promo code FOUL. So again, that is Navage, the free cleaning kit, and full product details also are available at navage.com/FOUL. Use promo code FOUL and get rid of that snoring problem that you've got. FT fam, foulterritoryshop.com. As it gets a little bit colder potentially in the next few weeks, you might want to get yourself a little hoodie over there. But otherwise, t-shirts, polos if you're into golf or just being all official, hats, multiple versions, wristbands, I'm always wearing one, coffee mug, stickers, etc. foulterritoryshop.com. Hot corner time. Player we're not talking about enough in the National League is
Willie Adames. Listen, I got to see him firsthand this weekend. I've seen him a few times now. If you don't know about Willie Adames and the year he's having this year, he's 99 RBIs. I believe that is tied for the league in the leading the National League, or if not, at one point he was leading, but I'm not sure. But he has 99 RBIs, and the best stat I've seen in a long time, he has 13 three-run homers this year. Just him. 13 three-run homers. That is more than I don't know exactly how many teams. That's more than multiple MLB teams have on the year. He tied the all-time record, and he still has a month to go.
That is a massive number of three-run home runs.
If he comes up with two guys on, you might as well just let him circle the pillows because he's going to hit home. It's incredible. He hits on the right. He's homered in 5 games in a row. He's playing shortstop. I know we were talking about Ketel Marte for MVP, but he's been out for a while now. Willie Adames has to be in the conversation. Is he going to win? Probably not, but he needs to be in the top 3. I'm assuming they're in first place. They have a 10-game lead in the division. He plays shortstop. I don't know who else you can. Obviously, Shohei is the front runner, but Willie Adames has got to be there. And the best part for him, he's a free agent at the end of the year, so he is going to get paid.
He is going to get paid.
You should ask Blake Treinen, hey, what do you think about Willie Adames?
Yeah, when you're a shortstop and you're that age, you're going to get paid. You got that kind of pop. playing for a winner like that. So he is leading the National League in RBIs, just barely, but he's at 99. Next up is Ohtani at 98, along with Ozuna at 98. He's going to get dinged for the WAR number. I'm telling you, that's what writers look at.
I understand that. I get it.
I get it.
WAR is not, but the problem, here's one of the problems we have. We've had this conversation. WAR is not the end-all, be-all. Look at what he means to us. If you go watch a Brewers game, there's going to be writers that are going to go, well, I haven't seen a Brewers game all year because I don't watch them because they're in the Central and they're in Milwaukee, right? Mm-hmm. If you watch a Brewers game, he is in the middle of everything they do, whether it's laughing on the bench, whether it's talking to this guy, whether it's doing this. And when I talked to Pat Murphy, we were talking about certain things. He's talking about Jackson Chourio. And he said Jackson Chourio has been better because Willie Adames has been in his ear. And he's been helping him get through when he struggled early in the year. Who was there? Willie Adames. When William Contreras kind of goes off the reservation a little bit, meaning like he kind of loses his mentally and he gets mad and he does something crazy, guess who's in his ear?
Willie Adames.
Willie Adames.
Oh, Willie loves to talk, but he's fun. He's entertaining.
He's smiling. He's happy. We interviewed Tobias Myers this weekend on Saturday. Guess who was throwing seeds and smiling?
Willie Adames.
Willie Adames.
Always.
I mean, everywhere you go, it's Willie Adames. And you can't put a price on that. And you can't put a WAR on that.
I'm going to do this just because it's part of my job, I feel like. He has a 3.0 baseball reference WAR, which is not even close to the top 20. In Fangraphs, he's a little higher. So he's 3.0 WAR because his defense gets dinged? Yeah.
Okay.
Fangraphs has him at 4.4. I like outs above average more. I think the main difference with Fangraphs and Baseball Reference, I think, is how they judge D. I think one uses DRS and one uses outs above average. His outs above average is 1, so he's basically average.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Find me another shortstop with 99 RBIs.
Francisco Lindor is pretty damn good this year, too.
Okay.
And he's a better fielder. Fair.
Okay. Willie Adames hits bigger homers, though. 3-run homers. And his team's in first place.
Yeah.
By 10 games.
Kratz, what do you think? Because you know the Brewers really well. And I guess two-pronged here. One, how good is Adames? But two, do you think he finishes top 3 for National League MVP?
I don't think he finishes top 3. I mean, if you're clearly only going on WAR, Jackson Chourio is going to have he's going to finish ahead of Willie. I don't think he's going to finish ahead of him. I think there is something to be said when you're playing shortstop and you're doing all the things. You guys hit exactly everything that Willie is. I played with Willie in Tampa, and now watching him take over that leadership role, especially in this last 3-4 weeks since Yelly's been out, he's really stepped up. He's always been that energy guy. And to me, I think his numbers, as far as like what he's doing, 13, he's probably going to get another 3-run homer and break the record. I still think he finishes out of the top 3. I think.
Oh, well, then who are the 3? Shohei, Lindor, and who's the third?
I think Ellie's probably having a better year, as much as that hurts me to say. And
why does that hurt you to say, you guys? Yeah, Ellie's at a 5.9 for Fangraphs. Willie's at a 4.4.
Okay, so that means that stolen bases are weighted way heavily.
Yes.
Because if you look, listen, they're weighted way too much for me. He's at 4.7 on Baseball Reference, and Willie Adames is at 3. Willie Adames has more RBIs, same number of homers. Yes, his batting average is lower. He has less stolen bases than Lindor. And listen, Lindor's having an unbelievable year too. Don't. But I'm just saying that if you just look at Willie Adames's importance to that team, and if it's truly value to his team, it's hard for me to argue that there's anyone more valuable to their specific team.
I think that numbers don't tell the whole story of Adames, but I also do think that Elly De La Cruz can make a case for just as much value. This season, OPS plus similar,
no chance.
Rated better defensively.
You want to know why?
Better base runner. What?
You want to know why? He's not a better base runner. Here, you want to know why? He steals more bases. That doesn't mean he's a better base runner. He's faster. But let me tell you this. Think about this.
Okay.
How many strikeouts does Elly De La Cruz have?
A lot. I know you.
I want your answer.
You want me to look it up?
No,
guess?
Give me a guess.
168.
178 this year.
Okay.
There was number one in the baseball, or close to the top. Adames has 99. Okay, fine. 66 walks for Willie. 61 walks for Elly. Okay.
I know, but
here's the thing. So this just shows you how heavily weighted stolen bases are.
And defense, though, dude. I'm telling you, Elly. Did you see that play he made the other day?
I also saw him take a ground ball and just whiff it,
Hey,
cost
sure.
him a bunch of runs against the Brewers.
I got you. I don't want to make this an Ellie.
I'm
versus
not either,
Adames
but I'm
thing,
just saying, like,
I think they
to
both
me,
are.
this year,
Yeah.
just because you look at WAR, that's not the end-all, be-all stat. It shouldn't be. There should be other things that are brought in, and I think that a lot of writers look at it, and this argument will have to the day I die. But I also want to say this, Scott, and you're going to cry when I tell you this, and you're going to be so mad when I tell you this, but I got to meet Ellie this weekend, so I'm sorry.
I'm not crying.
I got to meet him.
I'm just saying.
I met him.
Did you tell him if he wasn't playing this year that that team probably would have lost like 90 games?
I'm just saying I got to meet Ellie this weekend. And,
Did you tell him to come on the show?
No. Shaq Fu, too. Shaq Diesel was in the house, too. Did his DJ
he was doing
set
a post-game show
in
or
Cincinnati.
something? Yep.
But you know what's funny is he supposedly I've in Orlando I've been around Shaq, like, and he's always very nice. But they asked him to come into the clubhouse, and he would not. He's like, he shows up at 8 to get ready for a set, but they wanted him to come in both clubhouses, and he didn't.
Really? That's unlike him, though.
I know, it's weird.
It could have been scheduling.
It was something. I know, because all you hear is about what a great dude Shaq is.
He is.
But there was a big jersey in the Reds clubhouse that said Diesel 34, and they all signed it. So
That's cool.
yeah,
I'm gonna give him
that jersey was
as
as big as his damn table was.
Yeah. I don't think Shaq's big leaguing the
No,
baseball
I don't
teams.
either.
So they were saying he didn't get there in time, or what?
I don't know. They just said he's getting there in the 8th inning and is doing a set right after the game.
Oh, so he's pushing it on timing. When did they want him to go?
After the game or before the game or sometime.
But he
because all the
wasn't
guys,
there
well,
before the
obviously
game.
everybody wants to meet Shaq.
Yes. But my thing is he wasn't there before the game. So
Yeah.
if he gets there in the 8th inning and he's doing the show right after the game, he's not going to go in the clubhouse before. You'd have to wait or do what Ellie did, right? And go on the field and hang out for the post-game concert.
Yeah.
Right?
But I did meet Ellie. And he spoke
Can
to me.
Can I bring us back from Scott blushing, meeting Ellie, and everybody's pushing Willie as the MVP candidate? I have somebody that probably might. I'm gonna say he's gonna get more votes than Willie, unless Willie has a ridiculous September, and he's on that team, and I think should be the MVP of that team. Anybody?
Bryce Harper.
Nope.
Jackson Churio?
Nope.
William
Murphy?
Contreras?
William Contreras.
Yeah.
William Contreras, the season he has because he's playing behind a dish and because of what that team, the value they've gotten out of that team from the pitching staff that they have has been ridiculous. If they want to go anywhere, a catcher that plays, he has 528 at-bats. You know this better than anybody, AJ. If you want to make it to the playoffs, you want to be a serious contender in the playoffs, like not just, oh, neat, that's cool. You need a catcher. This guy deserves MVP votes, and I think he might get more than Willie.
They might hurt each other. That's for sure. That happens sometimes.
I
too.
disagree.
All right. Well, for now, Willie's homered in 5 straight games. Brewers haven't won a playoff series since 2018, so we'll see if he can get them on track there. They're going hard for that bye, and I don't blame them. Go get that bye so you don't have to deal with any really annoying teams in the first round. All right. We're swinging back with a team that is hopeful to make it to the first round as a wild card. Kind of doubt it, but we'll check in on the Cubs with Sahadev Sharma from The Athletic and Northside Territory. Okay, question, fam. Which team is getting the 3rd NL wild card?
Braves.
Easy.
I think so.
Do you think it'll come down to the finish line?
I think it was going to be closer than we thought it would be, but I think that it's going to be the Braves.
Want to look real quick at schedules? By the way,
Well, they
Sale
play the
against
Rockies,
the
the next
Rockies
3,
tonight.
so that should be 3.
do you know what the line is for BetMGM for Sale against the
Yeah,
Rockies right now?
I took the Braves.
That's a good idea. They're
300.
minus 400
Oh,
on
it's
the money
300
line.
when I did it.
Oh, it's 300? I think I saw minus 400 on the money line. So anyway, they've got the Rockies, Blue Jays, Reds, Nats, Dodgers, Reds, Marlins, Mets, Royals. That's a pretty soft schedule.
Doesn't matter, though, Scott, according to you. Schedule doesn't matter.
Yeah, you just close your eyes, play any team. You could play a little league team. Doesn't matter. Mets schedule, 2 more against the Red Sox. They took game 1. Thanks, Grimace. Reds, Blue Jays, Phillies, Nationals, Phillies, Braves, Brewers. That's
a lot of
tougher
Phillies.
schedule.
A lot of Phillies and Braves in there.
Yeah, and the Phillies are not in cruise control. I feel like they need some momentum heading into the playoffs?
Here's the one difference for me and Kratz. I think you'll agree with me. I had this conversation with my son last night. We were kind of talking about playoffs and who was here and there. And one of the things I said to him was, I said, it used to matter, like if you played a team, let's say the Brewers, right? And it was more, we were kind of gearing this towards the White Sox and whether they get to 120 or not, because we were watching the game. He's like, you think they'll get there? And I'm like, oh, they're blowing that record out of the water. But what I said was, you used to be able to, like I remember in 2002 or 3 when the Tigers got to 119, and I was on the Twins. We played them last year. We had a 7-0 lead or something on them in the 5th inning, and we took all our guys out. We put in like our AAA, and we lost the game. That kept them from tying the record. But you can't do that anymore. So like the last 3 against the Brewers, where you're like, oh, they play the Brewers, they're going to be already clinched. You got to play your dudes because you can't play.
You're saying because of seeding?
No, because of the new roster rules. There's no 40-man roster.
Because you don't have.
You only get 28 guys, so
yes,
you can't play like a spring training game. You have to legit play your same guys. Mm-hmm. And now you might only play William Contreras or Willie Adames 5 innings, but they still got to play because you don't have enough roster spots to change it, and you still got to pitch your pitchers.
That's true.
And you might throw some different, matchups and stuff, but you still got to pitch your guys.
Yeah, you can't do a shift change. No more of those Kratz.
Braves are making it in. I think the Mets have too tough of a schedule. Don't sleep on both teams playing the Blue Jays here at the end of the season, too.
Sahadev Sharma joining us from The Athletic, and of course, one of the stars of Northside Territory. Go check out the podcast wherever you get your pods. Give it a listen, and you can check out their YouTube channel as well. Sahadev, great to see you, and I'm going to try and phrase this in a fun way for Cubs fans. Is there a more disappointing loss last night to the Pirates than the one that the Cubs just put up, given that they had won so many games in a row? And I know you're not going to win every game, but they have to be near perfect in the games they're in control of. So was that just like another extra dagger that Cubs fans are dealing with at the finish line here?
Yeah, I think what really added the gut punch was after the game, Craig Counsell announced that Justin Steele is scratched for Tuesday night and Kyle Hendricks is starting tonight. That's really the big blow. The loss is tough. Obviously, there, like you said, there's little margin for error right now. There have been worse losses. This team has had some losses that just were kind of shocking at times, but that one was really tough. And then you add in Justin Steele out for tonight. We'll hopefully get more word on just how severe that elbow issue is, because if he's gone for an extended period of time, this is already an uphill climb. It's going to be much tougher without him.
First of all the daggers the Cubs can take, I'm for it. I'm here for it. So dagger away, okay? Throw all the daggers at him you want. Everyone that hits home, I'm here for it, okay? So, but here's the thing. Is this fool's gold what they're doing right now? Is this fooling the fans into saying, oh, we're a good team, let's go Cubbies go? Because they're not making the playoffs. They didn't make it last year. They didn't sell last year. They probably should have. They're not going to make it this year. So go Cubs go, or lose Cubs lose?
I mean, I'm not sure what losing really does for them. They need to prove to ownership that they're a competitive team, to invest in the team, to continue to invest in the team. Yeah, are they making the playoffs? I'm not betting on that. Is this at least entertaining for the fans? I think so. I think it's good to have a fun September. Erik Kratz was part of a Brewers team that caught a Cubs team in 2018. They had needed a ridiculous September to do it because the Cubs played well that September, and the Brewers were just on fire. And that team was, the manager was Craig Counsell. Counsell has some sort of ability to get the most out of his players late in the season. I do believe that. Chicago is not used to this type of September where a team needs to come back and they actually do it and make the playoffs. It's usually they're in command and then they lose the lead. It's just not. Fans aren't used to seeing anything close to this. So if they do pull it off, it would be one of the first times I've it certainly would be the first time I've covered something like it. First time I've been around something like this as far as Chicago goes. I agree, AJ. I don't think they're going to make it. I think there's value in this, though. And I think the NL, I mean, baseball is full of mediocre teams. So to just say like the Cubs are they good enough? I think the league shows that they're good enough because I'm not impressed by many teams across baseball.
But every team has somebody or somebodies. We were just talking about the Brewers and who should be MVP candidates. If you're going to go more, and I don't hear you saying this particularly, but if you're going to say, okay, Cubs fans, this 8-2 record for the last 10 against some absolute doo-doo teams, this is real. We're going to make a run in September. Who's going to be the guy that who's going to be, you talked about the 18 Brewers, the Christian Yelich of that month, the Ryan Braun of that month, even a reliever. Like, who's a guy that steps up on this team and is like, wow, he carried us.
As far as, I mean, when you look at August, yeah, I mean, if you look at August, it was Pete Crow Armstrong was one of them. He was absolutely amazing offensively, defensively, base running, causes havoc on the base paths. I mean, offensively, Seiya Suzuki's having just as good of a year as most of those Brewers guys you mentioned. Just pure offense. Value-wise, he doesn't play shortstop or catcher, so he's not close value-wise. But he's having a really good offensive season. Ian Happ's putting up some of his best power numbers of his career outside of 2020 in the 60-game season. He's finally looking much more like the power hitter that he was supposed to be when he came up. Those are the guys I'd point to right away. Dansby Swanson's finally turning things around overall. Not a great season, obviously, offensively. I think Isaac Paredes needs to step up in the power department. He's starting to look more like himself at the plate the past week or so, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has a big month in the power department. They need other guys to step up because they had guys like PCA, guys like Miguel Amaya and Christian Bethancourt stepping up in August. You can't rely on that. That's just not – I don't expect those guys to repeat the months of August and September. It would just be – I mean, it would be insane if they were able to do that because that I just don't see it happening. I think guys like Seiya Suzuki and Ian Happ need to continue to be the rocks that they are in the lineup, and then guys like Isaac Paredes and even Michael Busch need to step up and have big Septembers. I'm not sure if they have that pure MVP type. I'm not sure. They don't have that MVP type, but they have a pretty deep lineup. And when guys like PCA and Miguel Amaya aren't automatic outs, that makes it a strong lineup 1 through 9.
I'm going to double down on what AJ asked. So not only could it be a mirage when you're beating teams like the Pirates and the Marlins down the stretch here, right? And I know last night was a loss to the Pirates, but they had a nice road trip. DC also with the Nats, giving it to them in some of those games. Do you think that this club looks at win projections too much when they're forecasting their season and building a roster? I mean, I think that's a problem in most of Major League Baseball, and it's okay to do it, but is there an over-reliance on it? And would that prevent them from going for the jugular in the free agent market? Because it's not like this team doesn't spend. They're up there in payroll. You can probably tell us better. I forgot what their number is, but it's pretty high. But it still feels like they don't really go for it and show their might in the Central Division.
Yeah, so I believe they're 9th in overall payroll. Yeah, do they act like fans want them to, or anyone should expect the Chicago Cubs to financially? I think they should be a top 5 payroll consistently. They're not. I think they may get up there every once in a while, but that's not the reality they live in. Tom Ricketts isn't going to have them be a consistent top 5, top 3 payroll. It's just not what he's going to do. You can point to the bad teams. They need to beat up on bad teams. They weren't. They were like 500 against bad teams until this recent stretch. They've swept teams like the Orioles. They've won series against the Dodgers. They've beaten good teams. They need to beat up on the bad teams and take care of business. And they've finally done that to make themselves relevant here. But I think you look across the league, like outside of the best, like the Dodgers and the Padres and and other teams like the Yankees and Orioles, most of them beat up on under 500 teams. The Cubs need to do that. They just haven't. So finally doing it makes them relevant again. I think, we'll see how they are against a team like the Yankees. It's not like the Yankees are playing unbeatable baseball. That their pitching isn't very scary right now. So if they are pitching to the level that some of these teams the Cubs have played, maybe the Cubs can score some runs and continue to keep that offense going. I don't know they're not going to spend insane amounts of money to get guys like Juan Soto or Corbin Burns. They're just not going to act like that team. That's not the way this front office behaves, and it's not the way ownership wants them to behave. So I think Juan Soto solves a lot of problems for this team. I think he would be a very obvious player to go and pursue. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy there, but it's not what they do. And I don't think they're going to be a player for Juan Soto, and I'd be surprised if they're a big player for Corbin Burns. I think they're going to go in that second tier. I think they're going to make some moves. I think that it's going to look like a better team next year, but it's not going to be going out and getting the biggest superstar on the free agent market. They'll probably make a big trade too. Their farm system is just, it's kind of top heavy right now as far as guys at AAA. At some point, you got to move some of these guys or call them up.
Okay, so I was going to ask you this question anyway, but now I'm going to add to it. What's the difference between the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers over the last several years? And I know the Brewers haven't won a playoff series since 2018, so it's no perfect team by any means. But this year, they've certainly ran away from everyone in the division. But here's where I'll go further. Did the Cubs think that they can create a Brewers-like atmosphere by bringing in someone like Craig Counsell and being able to win at the margins, and that ultimately will make each win cost less, just like the Marlins are saying, hey, Peter Bendix, blink and make this Miami Marlins franchise the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah, I think they'd love to do that. I think it's easier said than done. I think teams like Milwaukee and Cleveland and Tampa, like a lot of teams, want to replicate that and not spend as much. Ownership would love that. It's just not that easy. It's not one person. You can't bring in Craig Counsell and say, okay, do what the Brewers do. Share all the secrets. They brought in Carter Hawkins from Cleveland. Share all the pitching secrets. I don't think that's realistic. Listen, I think they have some good minds, and Craig Counsell is one of them. Do I think they can replicate what the Brewers are doing and spend a little bit more than them? I think that's what they want to do. I think Craig Counsell has some ideas of how to improve things, and I think we'll start seeing that in the offseason. What do the Brewers do a lot of things really well, right? The R&D stands out. Their player development, like their pro scouting, they're able to find relievers that nobody else wants. They're able to make shrewd trades. That they're very, they pounce in moments to get someone like William Contreras. They added Willie Adames for, I believe, a pair of relievers a few years ago in a very early season trade that you just don't see moves like that. They were aggressive, and they added a guy. I mean, these are the two guys you guys were just talking about for MVP candidates, and they were trades that overlooked pieces of trades. It's remarkable how often they were able to do things like that. I think that's what they want. They've looked across, they've looked up north and seen the Brewers repeatedly outplay them with what they believe has been lesser talent since about 2018. They've done it over and over and over again, and they've wanted what they do. With a little higher payroll, not Dodgers payroll, not Yankees payroll, but still higher than the Brewers. You would think that they'd be able to do more. Maybe that's coming in the years to come. It hasn't happened yet. So, whatever the Brewers are doing, it's working, and they deserve all the credit in the world and should be up there with one of the best organizations in baseball as far as doing so much with, a mid-level payroll, if not lower.
Right. And obviously this offseason was not fun for Brewers fans when they lose Corbin Burns via trade and they lose Craig Counsell via free agency. So you can get a lot more of this, in the offseason, but even right now, Sahadev Sharma and Patrick Mooney running Northside Territory. There it is. Multiple episodes weekly, a glimmer of hope here in September. It's better than some teams can say. I know Giants fans are pissed. We don't have a show for them right now, but they're not contending this month. The Cubs could make a run here. But anyway, you can get this wherever you get your podcasts and check out their YouTube channel as well for the audio version on there. Sahadev, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, at least it's not big picture time for the Cubs. They have that.
That's right. That's right. We'll be right back. We'll do that in the offseason.
Spend.
You said the word spend. That is
Spend.
often the answer. So before we get to a lot of, I think, actually pretty good fan questions today, I just wanted to say the Mariners are officially cooked. I don't know if we actually did a segment on them cooked. We went over their firing quite a bit, but they're cooked now. That's it.
I thought we already knew that.
I feel like this weekend really was the dagger when
This
you fall
weekend
to the
was it?
Angels and last night to the A's again. Walk-offs. Moniak had his day. Shea Langoliers had his day. Well, the bullpen kind of started to crumble down the stretch here. So now you're missing
Munoz
two
gets to
pieces.
pitch every day because every game they play is a one-run game.
Correct.
So a lot of these dudes have to pitch a lot. I mean, every game they're in is tight. You see Cal Raleigh hurt his finger in the net the other day. That was nasty.
Yeah, and he's their guy. I mean, that's the one star that's shining there, who, of course, they'd like to keep. Some Mariners fans are like, restart. God, they kind of did that a few years ago, and their rotation is nasty. But they're 6 games out with a few weeks to go. Astros are flying. No chance. 6 games out of the division. Wild card is what, like 5 or something?
5.5.
5.5? Nah. Sorry. You got to hop over the Tigers and the Red Sox and the Royals. No. It's over. And it sucks. And I got to say, told you so, Kratz. You're here every day with us.
Told you so when? In April? Or
In the
told you
offseason.
so like 2 weeks ago?
No, in the offseason, us 3 were all like, what are they doing? We all said that together, didn't we? We were very critical.
You picked them to go to the World Series. Don't look at me.
I did not do that this year. We were very critical of this team in the offseason.
Yeah.
And what happened?
You know what's amazing, though? If you look at where they're at 500. They're not going to – don't know if they're going to get to the 54% they were trying for.
Oof.
It might come up just short.
There was a show, I don't remember which one I was listening to the other day, another podcast, and they were doing some recent numbers with the Mariners thing. It was over like 3 years, whatever it was, and it was almost exactly 54% on their win total. And they were like, and what does that get you? Not much. All right, so anyway, let's hit some questions here. I need money in the chat. Do the Yankees deny adding next year to Cole's contract and hope he goes back to free agency? No. So Cole has this clause where if you add a year, what would it be, a 10th year or something, then you get to keep him. The Yankees are going to do that. They have to do that. No?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of that's a 10th year? Or I thought it was a 9th year. I thought it was an 8-year deal.
Oh, well, whatever it is, you get to add a year to keep him. So that it's not a real opt-out. It's just like a little extra sugar.
Just a bump.
Yeah.
It is 10. Yeah, it would be 10.
10. There you go. Wow. We are either smoking hot or we all fall lately. We all hit on Friday. That's nice.
Trevor's hit quick and exactly how he said it was going to hit. That was nice.
He's pretty smart, and he was due for a dub. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I got some nice games from trying to think back to Friday. I think it was Duran had a homer on Friday for the Red Sox in my win, and Cedon back-to-back in the 10th. That was the 7-5 win over the Tigers. So there we are, shining bright. Some really good-looking 4-figure ads. Todd, AJ, and Papelbon are up 4 figures. So, Pap, you're up first because we love you, and you're very entertaining.
FT fan, what's up? You know who it is. Never to be imitated or duplicated, your boy, Parlay Pap. Coming to you with a lock today. We got a 3-legger. These ain't easy to hit, but it's going to be a lock for you today. Here we go. You got Castillo with the Mariners going up against the Athletics today. A lot of outs going to be made by Castillo. Look at the Mariners money line. We're going to take that one. We're also going to go with Chris Sale today on the bump for the Braves. Got to go with Sale, potential Cy Young winner. And finally, you already know, We're going with the Orioles against the White Sox. We're not going to come off the White Sox. We got to bet them every single day to the season's end. Just kind of like Florida Gators this year. If you want to make money on football too, I bet against them all year too. Just a little side note on that one. But we're going to get this three-legger today. We're going to get that cheese, baby.
Wow. And there's a little bonus tweet from Pap. He said the Gators are the White Sox of college football. Again, though, I do agree with your point. Does everyone mean the Gators, or are they talking about Florida State?
I mean, right now, Florida State should be the White Sox because I guess, I don't know, Florida State, they were top 10. They lost to Georgia Tech, and then they got smashed by BC last night.
That seems like a worse start.
I mean, listen,
People
nobody thought Florida was going to be good this year.
No. And people are picking on your teams. Florida and
I mean, I'll say this. Congratulations to Miami.
Thank you.
They have the weakest schedule I've ever seen a Division I football team in a big conference have.
I thought Notre Dame has that too, apparently.
Not Miami's.
It's weird.
Miami doesn't have a team ranked on their schedule.
That's how it's done. That's how you go far, folks.
Yes.
Don't take on anyone.
And by the way, when Pap's
challenging.
picking on Florida, listen, Pap, 2 weeks from now, I'm coming to Stark Vegas. Florida plays at Mississippi State. With his little MS shirt on that he had.
Mm-hmm.
Be ready, Pap, for what's coming.
Mm-hmm. If I was a fly on the wall at that tailgate, it would be fun to observe. All right, so let's follow Pap here. Who do you have this evening? Or
you know what's funny is as much as
you have?
Pap and I agree or disagree, we actually agree on a lot of stuff. So I'm going. It's a 3-leg parlay.
Mm-hmm.
They hit a lot if you know what you're doing. I have Braves money line. That's one of them, which he also took. And then Luis Castillo, I took over 6.5 punch-outs because he pitched against him once and he had 8 punch-outs. And the Oakland A's strike out a lot. And then last but not least, White Sox and Orioles over 8.5 runs because it's Povich versus,
Nastrini.
Nastrini. And they both have like 7 ERAs. And it's in Camden Yards where the ball flies. So that gets me to plus 304. I mean,
nice.
I don't know where I'm going to miss on that one.
I don't think you're going to miss on the Sale Freeland matchup in Atlanta with the Rockies and Cy Snell pitching tonight. Kratz, you're up.
All right, I am going with the run line for the Diamondbacks. 2 pitchers are going against each other, Ryan Nelson, Kyle Harrison, with exactly identical ERAs, 4.22. Ryan Nelson, though, in his last 10 starts, has a 2.7, and Harrison has given up an extra run per outing than he has any other month so far in the month of August, and now we're in September.
Nice. And I'll go nice and simple, Royals to snap the skid, minus 105, going up against Bybee and the Guardians.
Ooh,
Singer
hasn't been pitching great, though.
I know.
I like Singer.
He's had a good year, though. He's got
but he
low
hasn't
3
pitched
ERA.
great lately.
It was Houston and Philly. Those are some tough matchups before that 6 shutout against Cincinnati. The better offenses are getting to him, but I've just got – this is a hunch one. I'm usually a numbers guy. This is just a hunch take that Kansas City's not this bad. There's a lot of new additions coming to the ball club, and they get back on track tonight. So anyway, there's your picks. Good luck on your bets tonight, and make sure you hit that first bet offer of bonus bets up to $1,500 back if your bet falls when you use the promo code FOUL. Obviously, it's football season too. You can get involved there. If you're new to the party, Jamie Foxx will tell you all about it. But sign up and deposit at least $10 into your new BetMGM Sportsbook account and place that first wager and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet loses. If you win, awesome. But if you lose, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Coming back to Slap Hands on YouTube, we're going to continue answering some good questions from fans today. Let's get through a few if we can. Linda, Pat Murphy, Manager of the Year in the National League? Yes.
Emmer Schilt. For me, Mendoza would be the 3.
I still got Pat.
Listen, Craig Counsell never won it.
Yeah. I feel like expectations were not even close to this level for the Brewers.
I'm just saying. Listen, I've been saying this. I've been banging the Brewers pretty hard.
Yeah, they're cruising the entire year.
I agree.
So I think Schilt, Mendoza, those kind of guys, second place contenders
Okay.
I'm guessing Kratz agrees.
Agreed.
Thank you. Oof. Zane said this might be a hot take, but I feel like Judge isn't any different than Matt Olson was last year.
Except he's done this for like 4 years in a row now.
Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
it's a bad take. Whatever that guy's name was, it said
but he's just saying season to season. But okay, I'm gonna do just a quick offense check. And again,
Matt Olson had a great year last year. Absolutely.
He had a great year. But 54 homers, 139 RBIs. OPS plus was 164. Incredible. Exceptional year. That's the kind of year batting-wise that can win you an MVP. And I know he was, I think, 4th in MVP voting. Judge's OPS plus number is 222 this year. That is worlds ahead. So I do not think they're comparable on really any level with what he's doing.
Watch what Judge is doing. Watch what Judge is doing. Just sit back, watch. You're watching historic run of a future Hall of Fame player.
Don't hate. 711 slug, 1170 OPS. Olson last year 604 slug, 993 OPS. Again, awesome year.
Yes.
Not Judge.
Not Judge. Just watch it. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Don't try to hate on it. Something. Everything is down that needs to be down. Everything is up that needs to be up. Walks are up. Strikeouts are down. His hard contact is actually a little bit higher than it was in his MVP season. Like, just watch it.
I thought my take was better earlier. Verlander needs to pitch better. There's 5 good starters in the rotation right now for Houston. He's not right. He's saying it.
Joe Espada does not have enough hair to even approach that conversation. Not enough. Dana Brown, stay out the clubhouse, kid.
If he's healthy, he's pitching in the playoffs.
Obviously, he's pitching in the playoffs, but
they can put him in the bullpen. Oh, hey, Justin, you're going to the bullpen. Yeah,
is he starting game 1?
No, I already said no to that. Worst take of Scott's life.
No.
Yeah.
I need better correct.
Worst take of Scott's life.
That's actually a compliment. If you're saying the worst take of my life is questioning the current performance of Justin Verlander.
No, your worst take of your life was that if he's healthy, he's not going to pitch in the playoffs. That was your worst take of the
Not
life.
In the playoffs.
Actually, you've had a lot of really bad ones.
What if he goes 5 innings, 5 earned runs for the next 4 starts to finish off the year? Doesn't matter.
He won't.
Okay, I'm just saying.
No, it doesn't matter because if that happens, then he's going to be like.
His game log is not great lately. Just saying.
He hasn't pitched. He's got a month to get it right, get it tight.
Okay. Get it right, get it tight.
You've had a lot of really bad takes lately.
What's another one?
I don't know. There's so many that I'm losing count at this point.
I don't know. I mean, I did have Florida versus Florida State in the national championship game, so that's
a terrible take. I could have told you that was bad from the get-go.
Kidding. Kratz hats, what do you got?
I got the Milwaukee Bears. One thing that's cool about this hat, inside here, when you get the Negro League hats, when they wear those uniforms, it's a cool little insignia. And I realized I rarely give New Era shout-outs, but is there a better hat in the game than New Era?
They do a nice job.
They do a really good job. As far as uniforms.
It is the official hat of Major League Baseball.
It is.
So there is no other hat in the game.
We're not even getting paid to say that.
I mean, come on.
Are we?
You know Ike?
Do I know
the
Ike?
New Era guy? Yeah.
No.
Dave Eichinger? It's one of them guys you got to know if you want some hats.
I have a bunch of hats.
How come you haven't made that connection?
You need to know me.
Doing New Era Kratz hats. So that
Mark Weiner got hooked up with all kinds of hats at the All-Star game by him.
Wait, but why don't we set this up so that we stop getting
I don't know why
Columbus
you guys don't.
and Lehigh?
I don't know why you guys don't set that up.
Okay. Well, now we're going to have to do this after the show. That's kind of an easy win. So on Wednesday, James McCann will join us. Carl Ravitch is back on the show.
I'm not on tomorrow, so.
That is true. But that's
I'm flying to Stark Vegas.
You are? No Pap appearance.
No Pap this weekend, though.
Ken Rosenthal is back on Wednesday. Todd Father's back with us on Wednesday. You've got Thursday and Friday this week.
Thursday, Friday.
Adjust your calendars. Pitching Ninja's going to join us on Friday. Reed Garrett from the Mets just confirmed he'll chat with us right after that series. Mets-Red Sox is big.
Well, the Red Sox are cooked.
Did you say James McCann?
Yeah, James McCann tomorrow. Big, I would say, for the Mets, big win yesterday. Severino pitching well again, 4-1 dub. Although, did you see Carlos Mendoza? He goes, the ace of this team is Sean Manaea.
Dude, Sean Manaea shoved against the White Sox on Sunday.
He said that he's mimicking Chris Sale.
He's kind of a little bit lower slot now. He's like almost like sidearming it now.
Whatever. He changed that during the season, and it's working.
He's dealing. Good signing.
What?
Good signing.
Good signing, and I'm pretty sure he's available again, though. I think it was a 1 year with a player option. Pretty sure he's going to make some moolah this offseason because that version of Sean Manaea is good. Yeah.
Scott doesn't look at the screen. This doesn't do anything.
This. We have to tell you. Josh Hader tomorrow, also just confirmed.
Wow.
How are we going to fit all them in? How are y'all going to fit all them in?
We can do it. 4 guests.
He said because AJ's not on. He's coming on.
Perfect.
That's what he texted me.
Reed Garrett wants to talk to AJ, so he's coming on Friday just to chat with AJ.
He
likes the show. Yeah. I like to let people know, hey, AJ's not on this day. This day is available. I do some nice things. I have some good takes.
Very, very few.
Some decent takes.
Few and far between.
So we're going to stay on YouTube for a few minutes before we get to Dodgers territory, which is on today. And there is one more fan question that I was saving. I felt like it's a good transition question. So just think about it for a second. Don't answer it. The reception for Shohei Ohtani tonight in Anaheim. Don't answer it. All 100%.
No, there's people that'll boo everywhere.
People boo everywhere. Aaron Judge got
I got booed a lot of places. Can you imagine if I got booed, that Shohei's definitely going to get booed.
There's always a bad actor out there that boos AJ and Ohtani. I'll go off the grid on my answer for Ohtani's reception. I think there'll be some people in tears. He could have been a lifelong Angel. I don't even think they worked that hard to retain him, and they certainly have a lot of issues to work through as an organization, and a lot of it has to do with the core of how they're running.
They're getting better, though. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Neto looks like a player. Shanaway has been better. Ohapi.
So
but they got to still find some pitching.
Right? I got it.
But their core of the guys, the main core that they have, and if the guy they just drafted, Christian Moore, becomes something, I mean, then you got a catcher, a shortstop, a second baseman, a first baseman.
Got to develop pitching, but
Trout when he's healthy.
Yeah. So there's two issues here. Number one is they're still pretty far back in terms of pitching development. They had some dudes that you need the blend. We always go over that.
Did you see the dude who pitched for him, the 20-year-old? Dana Bend or something.
Mm-hmm.
They got Joyce at the back end. It was a bazillion, but the guy who pitched, did you see he only eats like 3 things and he takes a grill with him and he cooks his own meals in his room?
Oh, he's like a George Foreman grill guy.
Yeah, he's only eats steak, avocados, and something else.
I mean, that's good. He's way ahead of the curve at 20 years old if he's doing that because the Angels aren't treating him that well in the minor leagues. But yeah, he went 6 innings, 2 earned, 4 Ks. Yeah, he's 20 years old. So here's the main theory that I've heard, okay? Artie Moreno doesn't give a crap about the minor leagues. It's like one of the first guys to not want to pay minor leaguers when we had the COVID shutdown. He doesn't invest in it. Kratz, you can probably speak to this better. I continue to give credit to Perizynski because you have to put up with that. But I also think that this has to do with why they call up players quickly. Hey, we have a bad setup in the minors. We do not invest in the minors on many levels. Come up to the bigs. Learn from Ron Washington and company. I actually think that makes sense.
Yeah. And they promise guys, too.
Mm-hmm.
They promise guys when they draft them.
We'll call you up fast. That's allowed. It's not against the rules.
I'm not saying. They do. They do that. I mean, yeah. They told Christian Moore, you sign. Well, we'll start you in Double-A. Now he's in Triple-A, and there's a chance he gets called up this year.
Great. Sold. Who wouldn't take that deal?
I agreed. And he got I don't know what he got, but he got a lot of money, too.
Yep. Kratz, do you buy that theory at all?
I like that. I like that theory. Great take to end the show.
Thank you. I'm full of them. 1 for 10 today. Dodgers territory, Mondays and Thursdays.
full of it.
Wait, but today's Tuesday because we didn't have a show yesterday. We were observing Labor Day. So they're back today, and they'll be back again on Thursday. But just stay here. You can listen to Alana and Clint dominate for the next half hour talking about the Ohtani show, among other topics with the Dodgers and the NL West. We'll see everyone on Wednesday for 4 big guests.